What a turnout. It's absolutely wonderful to see everyone here. My name's TJ. I am the program coordinator here at the beautiful Library and Observatory. And it's my honor to welcome you to the Library and Observatory for what is going to be a great afternoon with Valerie Bertinelli. Very excited. Before we dive into things, just a couple reminders. If you haven't already, please go ahead and silence or turn off your cell phone. Take just a moment to do that. I also wanted to take a minute to say thank you to our hardworking staff for the library and for the Writers Festival. I'd also like to recognize some of our elected city officials from Rancho Mirage that are here today. We have Mayor Steve Downs and his wife Jerry, I believe. And Mayor Pro Tem Ted Weil. As we draw the curtain on this season's Writers Series, I'm thrilled to announce that we've shared the joy of reading by gifting 1,800 books worth over $30,000 to our attendees. Pretty amazing. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to those who have made the Writers Series possible. Our sponsor, Jordan Schnitzer, and founder of the Rancho Mirage Writers Festival, Mr. Jamie Kabler. Thanks, Jamie. Following today's program, Valerie will graciously be signing copies of her latest book, Indulge. If you are interested in having your book signed, please line up on the poster wall over on this side of the room directly at the end of the program. If you weren't able to get one of the copies as you came in, we do have more for sale with our partner Follett in the back of the room, as well as copies of Valerie's other books, so you can check that out. Joining Valerie today on stage will be none other than our festival's very own executive producer, Debbie Miller. Debbie was the perfect host for this event because her and her husband, Doug, are the resident foodies of our crew here at the library. The special book to be discussed today has been crafted with Valerie's compassionate and personal touch, featuring heartfelt reactions on relishing both the significant and the subtle moments. Indulge serves as a passport to revel in the pleasures of food and perhaps most significantly to embrace the joys of life. Please help me in welcoming Debbie Miller and Valerie Bertinelli.
Thanks, TJ.
Thank you very much. That's a very sweet and kind welcome. Thank
Well, you can tell by all the people in the room. Half of Rancho Mirage wanted to attend the event. These are the
okay out
lucky
there?
400 that made the room today.
Very nice to see you. What I usually do, but it's a little dark in the room, is I like to take a video of everybody that came to see me because it makes me feel good. And I watch it in the middle of the night when I feel like shit. Are there house lights? Are there house lights?
Sure.
Yay! Okay. Okay. So, wait. Oh, now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this. Oh, shh. I accidentally filmed something already of me saying stupid shit. Okay. Oh, by the way, I swear a lot, so if you don't like it, you can leave now. What kind of filter? Okay. Hi, we're in Palm Springs, and look who's here with me. Oh, wait, can we call this Mirage? Fucked up already. Now I'm showing my underwear. Okay, this has been so good so far.
Microphone, Valerie, please.
Yes, but I just flashed this side. Oh, that's my boyfriend. So I just flashed him like he hasn't seen it before.
We can turn the house lights off again.
Okay.
So, Valerie, we're
Yes,
so
Debbie.
happy to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Are you all put together?
No, I'm not, and I never will be.
Well,
I'm a
that's
work
all
in
right.
progress, as always.
Well, you look good to me.
Thank you.
You're a two-time Golden Globe award-winning actress.
Insane.
When you were 15,
Yeah.
you went on One Day at a Time.
Yes, I landed the best job.
Amazing. You've done lots of movies, lots of TV.
That's Jack Grossbart's fault.
Yes, he's here. Hi, Jack.
Here somewhere.
You
Yes.
did lots of movies and TV. Then you were on the Food Network for 15 years.
Well, but that works differently. It was actually 7 years, but we did 14 seasons.
Ah,
So they do a couple seasons a year.
no
Yeah.
wonder you always look so young. You wrote not one, not two, but 6 books, including a New York Times bestseller, 3 cookbooks, 3 other books. So I promise we're going to get to Indulge.
Okay.
But can I back up just a little?
Oh, if you must.
Yes. Well, we got a whole hour.
See, that's the problem about being alive for a long time. You have a lot of history that you would like to forget, but people won't let you.
Well, especially if your history was played out on the big screen, the little screen,
Can
and
I just
everywhere
live in the
else.
moment, please?
It's a good moment.
Okay, that history made me who I am today, so we'll just run with that.
It did.
Okay.
So when did you decide you wanted to be an actress?
I think I was in middle school. There was a girl that was doing commercials, and I thought, ooh, that looks like a lot of fun. Little did I know how challenging the business is, but it looked like a lot of fun. So I asked my mom if I could, do that and start taking acting classes, and I did that with Tamarind Academy. And I did maybe, I guess 100 interviews before I got my first job.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was rejected a lot, which should have been a sign, but it wasn't, because I am determined and I have perseverance, and that has done me well in this lifetime. So I had that at a very young age.
And so when you got this big TV show, did you know what a big deal Norman Lear was?
Oh, absolutely.
She was
Yes.
on a Norman Lear sitcom. What could be better?
Right. And when you look back at the way child actors are treated, I think that I lucked out. I won the lottery being able to work with Norman and with Bonnie and with Pat and all the people that I worked with on that show, because I was protected. There was another layer of protection there, not just my family, but the people that I was blessed to work with. And I think, you see so many. I think there's a documentary on TV right now about Nickelodeon and how horrific the experiences were for the children. And I didn't get that. So I'm very lucky. And listen, that business is hard enough. So I'm super blessed that I had a little layer of protection there.
Well, you must have, because you turned out to be a normal human.
Have you met me?
Well,
I'm as normal, I guess, as normal can be.
You were normal at lunch.
Yes. I feel normal. I feel like I lived the life that I lived, but it still felt normal to me. Mm-hmm. I don't, not to diss Hollywood, but I don't spend a lot of time in Hollywood at the scene. I never went out to clubs. I never went out to the parties. So I'm a homebody. I love to go to the grocery store. I love seeing what's new. I'm telling you, when the new Ralph's opened up down, it went from Hughes to Ralph's, then it went to Fresh Fare. When it did that, I called my girlfriend. I said, we're getting babysitters, and we're gonna go, and we're gonna hang out at the grocery store. And we did, because that to me is really cool and fun.
And so Ralph's, what about Whole Foods? I mean,
Whole Foods is
Trader
okay,
Joe's?
but I mean, now it's under Amazon. I like locally owned. So I go to Gelson's a lot. So I don't know. I'm just a weirdo.
No, not at all. So you were...
I mean, I like Whole Foods. It's just fucking expensive,
No.
man. And then don't get me started on Erewhon. It's like to be like normal and natural and whatever, you got to spend a lot of fucking money.
I keep telling my husband that, but he thinks if it costs more, it's better.
It's not though.
Just tell him it's not.
It's not, Doug. Doug, it's not. Go fly fishing some more. That's natural and that's good. Yeah, depending on the river. So, yeah. I'm sorry.
See, this is
Doug likes to fly fish. I found this out over lunch, and he's, been doing it since he was a little boy. And I think that's super cool, because that, to me, is like chill and fun. I could do that. I can't do fly fishing, but I could stand in the river with you and enjoy that part.
Oh, I'm sure we'd love it.
No, you do that.
Oh, thanks.
I'll find someplace else to go. I'll leave you guys alone.
So then you became an adult actress. Was that hard?
I don't think I've grown up yet. I just turned 64 and I don't feel it. So it's like I don't get the age thing. I mean, my knees will tell you something different. My joints will tell you a little bit something different. But like, I was walking here, and the hotel we're staying at doesn't have an elevator, and we're on the second floor. Poor me. And so I'm wearing heels that I don't do a lot. And to walk down the stairs, I put my sneakers on, and Mike literally said to me, "Are you bringing other shoes?" Because You might want to, with the dress, I don't know. But yeah, I brought other shoes. And I'll take these off as soon as I'm done and put my sneakers back on. I don't know why I told you that. I'm a verbal vomiter about anything, so I'm sorry. Hey, it was free. Get over it. So now I have you captive for an hour, and it was free, so I'm sorry, Debbie.
No, don't be sorry. So then after that, just to keep you on track,
Yes, squirrel.
you married a famous rock star
Yes, I
named
did.
Eddie Van Halen from a very famous rock band
Yes.
called Van Halen.
Yes, I was 20. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If any of you have children that are 20, don't let them get married at 20. I'm just saying.
So while you ended up divorced, you
Yes.
guys produced an amazing human being.
The best thing to come out of that marriage was our son. Absolutely.
And tell us how you named him and who he's
Well,
named after.
so Amadeus had come out, and we were watching it on on our VCR. And
You really are 64.
yeah, yes, I am. And I just love the way Elizabeth Barrage said Wolfie. Now, we had a bunch of different female names because I didn't know what we were going to have. I wanted to keep it. I wanted to find out when the baby was born. So I made sure the doctor didn't tell me, and we didn't know. So I had a bunch of girls' names: Wilhelmina, Tallulah, Gracie, Sophie. I had all these great names picked out, but I couldn't pick one. When it came to a boy name, I loved Wolfie and Wolfgang, and it goes really well with Wolfie's ridiculous last name. So and Wolfgang Van Halen, and he has definitely lived up to the Amadeus and the and the Van Halen part. Yeah.
So tell us about the Oscars this year.
Oh my God! Did anybody see the Oscars and see Wolfie? Yeah, that Wolfie gets these offers to do things always at the last minute when he just happens to have like 2 days off, and so they're really hard things to turn down. I mean, being on the Oscar stage, so he had the rehearsals. He did it. Now I'm sitting in the audience with his wife Andrea, and Andrea and I were the first ones to stand up when Wolfie came out on stage and when the music started. And then by the end of it, I mean, we're screaming. I'm screaming the loudest I've ever screamed. But I knew I could do that because I didn't have Wolfie next to me going, "Mom, inside voice." So, and that my son tells me that a lot. Inside voice, Mom, but I don't know what that is. So
For those of you that don't know, will you tell them he's an accomplished musician?
Wolfgang plays, he started off playing drums at 9, then he picked up the bass, then he picked up guitar, he plays piano, he sings, he writes all of his music, he writes all of his lyrics, he sings every album that Wolfie has done, the last 2 albums, and he's in the middle of recording his 3rd. He does everything. It's all him. And I am the proudest parent ever. The first time he sent me a song with all of the music and the lyrics done, I texted him back because when you call, he doesn't pick up. So I texted him back and I said, "Wolfie, I don't think you seem to understand. You're doing the hardest part of music. Like you're writing songs. You're a songwriter. Do you know how hard that is?" He goes, "Well, Mom, I did write them, so yes." So, but I mean, and he tortures himself. Talk about the tortured poets department. Yes, I love Taylor Swift. He's amazing. I've seen him pull his hair out because he's just trying to come up with the perfect lyrics. So I'm incredibly proud of him. He is a multi-instrumentalist and a writer, and I could not be more. I don't know. I know that his father, before he passed, would say to Wolf a lot, "You're better than me. Like you're blowing me away." And Ed's right. He was right. Wolfie is, and he's just starting. He's only 33. I'm just incredibly proud of. Wait, is he 33 or 32?
That's your job to
91,
remember,
92,
not mine.
93, 94. He's 33.
So what was it like opening your wings and letting him fly on the road with his dad?
Oh, no.
at
Yeah, no.
15?
No,
16?
16. No, I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. Didn't want it to happen. I really didn't want him to be a musician. I didn't realize how talented he was, but I knew that the business ate people up. I saw the business eat up Wolfie's father and never recover from it. So I did not want to see that happen to my son, obviously. But I was told he would have a guardian. He had a guardian. He would have a tutor. He had a tutor. He had security. He had security. I told Ed, "I'm coming out a lot. Book me a room in the same hotel, because I'm going to be there," and I would let him know when I was coming in. And I was there a lot, and I still felt like a horrible mother. And I to this day, I still feel like I did a lot of stuff wrong, and that Wolfie turned out amazing in spite of me and in spite of Ed. It's incredibly remarkable what a fine young man he is. And I know that I'm prejudiced because he's my son, but he's a really fine young man, so.
And what's your hashtag?
Oh, yes, my on all my socials is Wolfie's mom. And now, granted, I mean, part of my socials I started in 2009, 2012. This is all before Wolfie began. Now I have to make excuses like, no, I've always been Wolfie's mom, not just because he's famous now. I've always been Wolfie's mom. So, anyway.
So, what made you become an author? How did that happen? From actress to author?
I still don't believe that I'm really an author. I do love to write.
You have 6 books.
Well, I also have a ghostwriter, Todd Gold, who is amazing and helps me through all of this. And I have felt from the first book up until Indulge, I feel like I have definitely taken over more, and Todd has backed off a little bit more and let me really explore more of what I want to say and write what I want to say. But Todd and I will get together in a room for months and months and months, and he will lay down a tape recorder, and I'll verbal vomit, like I said, and I'll say the direction that I want to take some things in. Then he will send me back what I said, cleaned up, and then we will work on that together. That's how it's become. And I had, the reason I love Indulge so much is because I had more to do with this book than any other. The same with Enough Already was written, that was written at a really challenging part of my life, and I wanted to continue on with Indulge. So these are like sister books, and I plan on writing a third book in this vein to go with the essays that I wrote in the cookbook, because I really feel strongly about them. Like there's a essay at the end called Good Show Ma, and it's about finding your sweet spot in life, and it's a really sweet essay that will kind of like give you a little view into my heart and how I feel about my son, as if I don't talk about it all the time. And then there's, don't be afraid to ask questions, and a big, thing on forgiveness, because I'm sick and tired of people telling me to forgive when I don't want to forgive somebody. And Taylor Swift said it best, because she is our queen mother. She said, you don't have to forgive somebody to move on. And you don't. You actually can move on without forgiving them. You can become indifferent. You don't have to forgive somebody that did shitty things to you. You don't. I'm really tired. And listen, if you're one of those people that can forgive someone, more power to you. Good for you. Your heart is bigger than mine. I have a pretty big heart, but I also have a heart that I'm going to protect for the rest of my life, because I don't believe that when someone's purposely gone out of their way to injure you, that they deserve forgiveness. Because when someone says, don't do it for them, it's for you, bullshit. Bullshit, because they're the one feeling it. I still feel like shit. Oh, I forgive you. No, I don't. So, no matter how many times I think, oh, I forgive you. I don't forgive you. I don't have that in my heart. Now, on the other hand, like Taylor Swift said, when you have someone in your life that you absolutely love and adore, and you want them to continue to be in your life, forgiveness is powerful. Because you can forgive and then move on and let it go and let it stay in the past. So those are the two types of forgiveness. Forgiving someone that was shitty to you, no. Jesus, I almost stopped myself. I have to, oh.
So forgive me, but
forgiving someone you love is super easy, because you love them and you want them in your life, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Forgive me for backing up again.
Yes, ma'am.
It's your first book, One Dish at a Time, Recipes from My Childhood.
Yes.
Tell us about your great-grandma and how you found out all about her.
I did an amazing show called Who Do You Think You Are back in 2014, and I was so excited to get picked to do it, because what you do is you give them a bunch of information about your background, and then they go do work for 3 months to find out if you have interesting stories in your life, which I can pretty much guarantee. I think every single one of us have interesting stories in our life. Hi. So I was like, when they said that they were going to do a show on me, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to find out? Well, I come to find out, and they didn't even tell me half the stuff about Nazareno Bertinelli, who was my father's father. But what I did find out is I found out about my father's grandmother, Maria Mancha Crosa. So Crosa Mancha, which one? Well, anyway, she was married twice. Crosa or Mancha, whatever. But she was on the poverty list for 17 years. She took care of her mother, she took care of her daughter, and then she was pregnant with another child. While she was on the poverty list, she would make her own gelato and sell that gelato from a cart on the little streets of Lanzo Torinese. And I got to go there, and I got to see the streets, and I got to see her apartment window. And it was so exciting, and it also made me feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. There's a reason why I love cooking. It's in my history. You know how there's generational trauma? I also think there's generational like gifts and love and things that we could be focused on, or things that we could give us a direction in going with where our generations have taken us. And it was soothing to me that she was a professional cook at a house in San Remo, and then she would go back to Lanzo, and then she would sell her gelato. And that's how she got enough money to buy 3 tickets after her husband died. So she was living in sin, and she had 2 children. And when she was pregnant with her second baby, she and, I'm forgetting my great-grandfather's name, but they married, and then he died the next day, pretty much. Yeah. And then she had all the money saved. Her mother died. That's when she decided to get on the boat, a week after the Lusitania was sunk. So she still had the nerve in 1915 to get on a boat and go, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to America. I'm tired of being poor. And she ended up in Lackawanna County, met a coal miner, and he tried to kill her.
Yeah, that's the part of the story.
He tried to kill her. I can't even begin to imagine what the coal mines do to you. It's probably one of the most difficult jobs that we have in this world. So he one day got a gun, shot at her. She rolled off the bed, pretended she was dead. He walked out of the room, and she heard a gunshot, and he had killed himself.
So it was Romeo and Juliet, West Side Story. He thought she was dead.
No, it was fucked up.
No,
No, that's not romantic in the least. It's horrifying. Because then she has 2 children, so, but God bless Maria. She was a strong, strong woman. And my mom was a strong woman.
Was my
grandmother, Angelina.
grandmother.
Right.
And you used to watch her cook in the
I used to watch her cook in my Aunt Adeline's basement, because in Delaware or on the East Coast, you have basement kitchens, and you never use the kitchen. That's always pretty. So you're always in the basement. So any of you from the East Coast, I'm sure I see some nodding heads, yes. And we would go to Aunt Adeline's house and hang out, and the kids would be playing in the backyard on the swing set, and I was always sitting on the stool watching Noni and Aunt Adeline and Aunt Norma and my mom, make up these amazing gnocchi and capelletti, and then she would put the capelletti in brodo, and that was my favorite soup, still is. I would watch her bake bread and then fry bread for me, make it a special treat with either jelly or cheese inside. So it got me really, like, I was obsessed with watching them create art, is the way I thought of it.
What did they do in the upstairs kitchen?
Nothing. It was perfectly clean all the time. It was a really cute kitchen, but they never used it.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So then you get on the cooking network. How did that happen?
That happened through my first cookbook, One Dish at a Time, which was Mark's idea, my manager, Mark. He said, you love cooking. I love cooking. I would love to see you do something like this. And then he got the bright idea to then take it to Food Network and do this show about going through Italy and finding my roots, what I love to cook, where all of my family came from, what they cooked. Food Network didn't want to do that. But they did want to do an ITK, which is called an In the Kitchen, which is like Rachel Ray, Ree Drummond, Ina, Giada had a show, all of those. Molly has a show now, I think. I do not. And I'm still pissed off about it.
Me too.
I don't know that I'm pissed off. I'm more hurt, which is a silly thing after being in this business over 50 years to still get hurt about business decisions. But, I wanted to be the Betty White of Food Network. It ain't going to happen. Anyways, so I got an ITK, and I was super excited about that. Kids Baking Championship came first, and then I was able to work for them for 7 years, and it was a dream job. I loved it. I loved working. I was learning so much. I used to say that I used to always be embarrassed that I never went to college, and I'm a few credits shy of having my high school diploma, but I feel like I went to the school of one day at a time. I kind of learned all the social skills, for lack of a better term, and learning how to act and learning how to, from some of the best people, Norman Lear, Bonnie Franklin. So I was learning in life. And I feel that same way about my cooking show, is that I was learning from these amazing chefs. The kitchen crew and my culinary producers know their stuff. And I would just hang out with them after doing a show and just see what they're doing, how they're, creating the stuff for the next day, and how they would cook along with me. And I feel like that's all of the lessons that I learned through life.
Did they pick what you got to cook, or did you?
No, that's where it's nice to be an executive producer on a show where I can have a little bit of say in all of that.
And so tell us some of the secrets, the behind the stuff things. How many times did you actually have to make it before it came out looking perfect?
Oh, no, there's no such thing as perfect on my show.
Oh.
And I wanted that on purpose because when I would make a mistake, I would keep the mistake in, because I want people to know that the kitchen is it's to have fun in. It's to learn in. I'm constantly learning things, and I think when I've stopped learning, that's when I die, because there's nothing left to learn. So I'll be alive for a long time. There's something about mistakes and seeing how they're made, and seeing the mistakes are where we really learn the most. When everything goes well, it's kind of hard to remember, but when you make a mistake, it's easier to remember, well, let's not do that again because that hurt, or that burned my finger, or that didn't turn out right. So I love mistakes, and I love keeping them in.
Do you remember the first thing you made?
The first thing I made on the show, or did I make lasagna?
I don't know.
I think I made lasagna, which is pretty much the first thing that I made as a young girl as well. One of the first things I made.
That's great.
And now lasagna is like blindfolded. Making the bolognese, all of that stuff. Although I do have a vegetarian bolognese in here that I'm super duper fond of.
You do?
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet, but I
very
did
good.
try a few things.
Yeah.
So I made the peanut butter filled dates dipped in chocolate.
So good.
Not fattening at all.
But dates are good for you.
They're so healthy.
Yes.
We live in a place where they grow
There you
a lot of
go.
dates.
Right?
And we
Indulge.
I do. And we tried the honey you guys have to try this, the mustard honey baked chicken thighs. We had them last night. They're delicious. Delicious.
And please use the thighs. Breast meat is fine and all, but thighs have so much more flavor.
Absolutely.
It's not that many more calories. Just, indulge, have fun.
If you've never had shakshuka.
Shakshuka. Yeah.
Got it. If you've never had shakshuka, try her eggs in purgatory. It's an Italian riff on the same recipe, and they're fabulous. Although my eggs ended up hidden under all the tomato sauce.
That's even better.
It is?
I like that too. Yeah. Yeah, and then you get some nice crusty bread.
Yeah. It was wonderful. Yeah. So, the Kids Baking Championship, which you hosted, they've got, for those of you that never saw it, there's 8-year-olds to maybe 14-year-olds cooking a cooking challenge in a contest environment, and she has to judge them. Wasn't that hard?
It's horrible. Yeah. And that's why I made Duff always be the one to cut the kid. Because I was like, I can't do it. I can't look at that face and tell it, go home. I can't, I was the one. So Duff is an accomplished baker. He's also an accomplished chef. He's been to the CIA. That's the Culinary Institute of, so it's not,
He's not a spy?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Although he could be. So he knows all of because I did the first season and they're making pâte à choux and I'm like, Duff, what's pâte à choux? I don't know what that is. And I'm, it's a baked dough that is very challenging to make. And I tried to make it the first time. I failed miserably. You learn through failure. So I would always be called in, and we wear these little earpieces during the entire day so that Les, the executive producer, can call to us and tell us when we're needed on set and all that. So sometimes I'll hear, we need Valerie. There's a crier. We need Val. ASAP, get her to the set. Yeah. So that was my job, to take care of the criers.
On camera?
Yes, they're crying on camera, and they don't want to be there. And I'm like, send them home. That's it, release that. So yes, that was me, to comfort them and to be a mom. Yeah. And I love that job. I love taking care of those kids.
And do you remember the funniest thing that happened?
Probably some of the costumes that Les made us wear. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of funny stuff.
And I saw the kids running for the candy shelf.
Oh yeah, and where they tipped it over?
Yeah, on air. The whole shelf goes all over the floor. It was a mess.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a great show. I loved watching it.
It's a fun show. Yeah, I'll miss it.
Okay, I promised I'd get to this cookbook. Indulge. Explain the title to us.
I'm a big proponent for taking words and giving them back their true meaning, and in the most positive sense, like diet. Diet is literally the food that you put in your body to survive. It's not deprivation. It's not meant to be deprivation. Your diet is what you eat. Indulge literally means to enjoy the pleasure of. And we have become so accustomed to not allowing ourselves to enjoy the pleasure of anything these days that I thought I want to just talk about indulging and indulging in your life, indulging in more than just food, indulging in how much you love your life, indulging in taking your dog for a walk, indulging in the beautiful sunrise, indulging in the sunset, indulging in whatever makes you feel gratitude for that particular moment, second, hour, day, whatever it may be, because I believe that when we live our lives in gratitude, no matter how challenging, that's when our life begins to change, and that's when our life begins to welcome more things to be grateful for into our life.
So will you read this?
What am I reading? Yes. A good recipe is like a successful relationship. It starts with a feeling in your gut and a tingle in your tongue, on your tongue. The tingle can be in your gut too. Yeah. Anyway.
Back to the page.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, it starts with a feeling, a tingle in your gut, and a tingle on your tongue. It requires optimism, taking chances, forgiving mistakes, and perseverance. And it all ends with love. So a good recipe is like a good relationship.
So how did you go about picking the recipes for this book?
The recipes kind of came about because when I started writing this book, I was going through the absolute worst year of my life. And I didn't know that my years could get much worse, but 2022 was basically the worst. Nah, not basically. It was the worst year of my life. It was, so in 2016, my father passed. Then in 2019, my mother passed. In 2020, my son's father passed. And it just was like bing, bing, bing. And then as I was living through all of this grief through my life, I was living in a marriage that was completely untenable. It was walking on eggshells. I was not in a relationship that I should have been in. But me, being who I am, and thinks that I can make anybody love me if I love them enough, which is not true. You can't. No one can love somebody enough. So the person you can love enough is yourself. You can always love yourself enough, and more and more. So when I wrote Enough Already, I was coming off the grief of these three important people in my life and in my son's life. And I was watching my son live through grief, watching his father pass. And that was really hard for me to watch Wolfie go through so much pain. And then I went right into writing Enough Already, and was basically a book about grief and finding your joy again. Then when I was done with that and I was doing the publicity for it, I was going through the last vestiges of this marriage and trying to get a divorce. Not easy in California. It's super expensive when you're the only one paying for it. Anyway, I'm not bitter. Not even a little bit. I lost all my joy, and I was really doing my best to be intentional. I was still remembering to be grateful for any little thing, but I wasn't finding my joy. And it's not just going to show up and sit on your lap. You really have to be intentional. You have to go looking for it. And I found that I wasn't cooking anymore, which really did bring me joy, and always had brought me joy. So I started to cook again, started to make myself cook and make myself come up with recipes or whatever recipes. Like there's this soup that I love in Scottsdale that you can't get in California. It's from Flo's, and it's a coconut Thai soup that's like unbelievable. I wanted to see if I could do this soup. I never did quite do it, but I got close. So I think that's in another book. But so I'm just trying to find my way through the kitchen, finding joy and wanting to cook through it. And I found myself getting happier. I found myself writing more recipes. I found myself calling Sophie, my recipe developer, and saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. This would be fun. And she had great ideas, and we just started riffing from there. And then as I was coming up with the recipes, I was also thinking about forgiveness, like what I told you about, and thinking about where is my sweet spot? Why don't I want dessert sometimes when I'm super duper happy? Or why do I want dessert when I'm really sad? And that has to do with feelings and feeling your feelings and not numbing them with food or numbing them with alcohol or, trying to pretend they're not there. Just feel them and get them over with. Or walk through them. Some of them are a little bit more challenging. But as I was writing the recipes, I started finding joy again. So I wanted to share it with everybody.
So will you read that right there?
Okay. The best part about turning 60 is that I can say enough already and mean it. The number isn't important anymore. It's the feeling that's important. How do I feel? How am I making others feel? Now, I spent a lifetime being told to step outside my comfort zone. I never want to leave it now. I want to spend the rest of my life the way author Anne Lamott described in her book, Plan B, Further Thoughts on Faith. Age has given me what I've been looking for my entire life. It's given me me. It has provided time and experience and failures and triumphs and time-tested friends who have helped me step into the shape that was waiting for me. I so believe that about aging and really feeling as comfortable as I've ever felt in my body and in my mind than I've ever felt. And I can feel myself getting closer to really, I have off days, but I can really feel myself closer to being, yeah, I'm enough. I'm actually enough. And I don't know if anybody ever gets there fully, but I'm close enough that I can feel it more often, multiple times a day and sometimes whole days. And it truly is a gift. And I think at I almost said 63, I'm 64. At this age, I more often than not really don't care what someone thinks of me. I have become immune to people, pretty much immune to people online who decide that they want to come on to my timeline, my page, and tell me something horrific about myself that they don't like. And it's like, yeah, that's the block. That's the block button right there. Don't come onto my page and tell me shitty things. Because would you do that to someone in person, in real life? No. So why do it? Because you're hiding behind a keyboard. So I think, but the thing about that is that when people say unkind to me things to me now, it really does roll off my back because I don't believe them. There's that guy on TikTok that starts pointing at people and says, I don't like you because you have blue hair. And the person doesn't have blue hair, so like, it doesn't affect them. See? So if you don't believe all of the negative things and don't look for confirmation bias of bad things about yourself, you're not going to believe it. And we have that power inside of us. We have the power to say, yeah, what you're saying to me doesn't ring true. I think you're wrong. That's a you problem. It's not a me problem. So go off and do you, and I'll continue to do me. We have the power to believe somebody or not. And once you realize you have the power, it takes away all of the, and believe me, I've cried enough, on TikTok and on Instagram, like, oh, somebody said something to me. I don't care anymore. I don't care.
So most of us in this room, we go through life's ups and downs in anonymity. You've done it since you were 15 years old across the covers of People. 12. People magazine, all over the headlines. How is it like? You just said you don't care anymore, but that must have been a dream.
For the most part, I'm feeling really strong today. There are days where I feel a little weaker, and I'm like, please don't be mean to me. But I do really have that base, that firm ground now. I don't know what it was like to live any other life but the life that I've lived. And I have tried to keep myself as real as that can be in a very surreal life that I've been able to survive. So I don't know what it would be like to live a different life because this is the one that I've lived. And I don't want to go through the shitty parts again, but I wouldn't change the shitty parts because I do believe that it made me who I am today. Can I just give the next 25 years to joy? That's all I want. I had said something the other day and I'm trying to make it stick in my brain because I love visuals. So I feel like I want to wear down the path to happiness and the path to anxiety and sadness. I want to let grow weeds.
Oh, I love that.
Someone close to me gave me these visuals about how neurons work in your brain.
So
and I came up with that.
I'm going to read something to you that I read about you on Substack platform. And it says, quote, "It is a cookbook, but I know what its author wanted from it. I know the message she wanted people to take away from it. I also happen to strenuously support the author because I think she's amazing and gives very good hugs, and I'm in love with her. You want to tell us about him?
I think he's blushing right now.
I
Honey,
hope
I didn't
so.
know this was going to happen. Do I want to tell you about him?
Sure.
I don't think I've shut up about him.
Well, that's okay. We want to hear.
You know what? I have, how do I say this? How do I say this? I'm not the writer that he is, but let me just say that I have never met anyone like him in my entire life. And I've had a life full of interesting people. I was married to two very interesting men. That there's a reason that we were no longer married. The first marriage definitely did not work out for a multitude of reasons because we did not treat each other well, and there was drugs and all kinds of things involved. And we were both really unkind to one another. The second marriage didn't work out for a multitude of other reasons, and we were very unkind to one another as well. I thought I was a little kinder, but we're not going to go there. And really immature, not good relationships. I did not want to have another relationship. I thought, I'm done. I gave it my shot, fucked up both of them. They fucked them up too. So I'm good. I got 6 cats and a dog. I can do the next 20 years alone. I'm good. And then this guy, who I had started following back in 2016, 2017, he has a very interesting Twitter following, political commentary, and really kind of laid his life out there for everyone to read and feel great kinship with. And I remember following him going, this is someone I would love to get to know because really interesting life and super funny, super smart, an amazing writer. And so I pressed follow. And then 2 years later, he followed me back. And I was super excited when I saw that. So, and then he kind of just slid into my DMs and we started talking once in a while.
For people that don't know, DM is direct message. I learned that today. I didn't know.
Right. I'm making a long story longer, and I don't mean to.
Hey, when you're in love, you want to talk about it.
Yeah. And
I know I do.
Yeah.
See?
And it's really different at this age because I think some things are said online that fascinate me and also give me pause and kind of, I don't know if they offend me, if that's a too strong a term, but like people will be very upfront with, we have posted some pictures recently because I adore him. And people are, you better take care of her. She's been through a lot. You better take care of her heart. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of like, have you not followed me? Do you know how hard I've taken care of my heart to be able to allow someone of Mike's, like he's a really special guy. There's not a lot of people, he's a unicorn as far as I'm concerned. And conflict resolution, thoughtfulness, brilliance, humor, kindness, that's a full package that doesn't come along every day. And you get this maybe once every couple of lifetimes if you're lucky. And I got super fucking lucky. And I really don't like when people think that he's going to break my heart, as if I don't like know how to search out and he doesn't know me and I don't know him. I understand the kindness and you guys wanting to protect me or people wanting to protect me, but what if I break his heart? I mean, that would be a really fucked up thing to do, wouldn't it? Why isn't anybody saying that? You know, so I think we're good. You know, I think Mike and I know each other well enough, and there's a reason that we are together, and I feel like it's the universe kind of pushed us together. If you feel that way about the woo-woo stuff, but I do.
Well, I can tell by the sparkling eyes that you're good.
Yeah, I think I've gone on long enough. Sorry, honey.
Stephen, can you put that slide up? So, there's Valerie Bertinelli in 1991?
1981.
1981.
Yeah.
You look about 12 there.
I would think I was 20, 21.
And then the other picture is the recent one.
That's 63.
2 days ago was your birthday.
Oh, God, yeah, it was.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your birthday.
Thank you.
And what would the woman on the right say to the girl on the left if she could talk to her now?
You're not fat.
That's right.
The standards in Hollywood and in life and in the patriarchy, sorry men, is that women have to look a certain way. They have to be a certain way. They have to restrict themselves a certain way. They have to not be enough. They have to be less than. And I learned that big time. So much so that I was a Jenny Craig spokeswoman because I didn't think I was enough unless I lost weight. I don't think that any longer. I am enough. What defines me is my character. What defines me is my heart and how I treat people. How I look is just the package I happen to come in. And I think it's super unkind and reductive for us to tell people that they're not good enough just based on their size.
Well, you're terrific.
Thank you.
So Valerie asked that we do just a little bit of Q&A. If you can bring up the house lights. I'm going to ask you, please just ask a question so we can get in as many as we can. And Valerie will be happy to answer them for you. Who's got a question? We've got microphones.
Nobody? Okay, we're good. Okay. Yes, sir.
There. Wait just a second. The mic's on its way. Ruby,
Right here. Second row, third in.
There you go.
I have to ask this. What was it like working with Betty White?
Oh, my goodness. It was a dream come true. I got 5 years with that woman. She walked, I'm telling you, you guys, she glowed. She literally glowed. There was something otherworldly about this woman. Her kindness, her gratitude, the way she walked through the world, never got angry at anything. And trust me, people really would test anybody else's nerves. She was remarkable and funny and body and the best. I learned a lot from her. I will forever be grateful for having her in my life. Yes, ma'am. Can you yell and I'll repeat the question?
What did Wolfie do at the Oscars that I heard?
Girl! It was the showstopper. Ryan Gosling sang I'm Just Ken, and Wolfie plays guitar all through the movie. During the fight scene, that's Wolfie's guitar. During the chase scene, that's Wolfie's guitar. Sure, Slash gets all the, kudos, but that's Wolfie during the entire song. I mean, I like Slash too. Wolfie's, he's on tour with him right now, but I'm just saying Wolfie worked more. So, yeah, Ryan Gosling killed it, and so did my son. I'm telling you, I'm like whooping it up. I'm going crazy, and I know it seems like I do that a lot, but I kind of don't. So for me to do that in front of, there's like Martin Scorsese standing up, screaming. There's Robert De Niro down there. There's Jodie Foster down over there. And I'm like, that's my boy. That's my boy. Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
Well, I did a really good job. I asked everything you all wanted to hear. Valerie will sign your books. Please help me thank Valerie Bertinelli.
Thank you.